Is Rome safe? Today we discover not only the answer to this question, but also where it's safe and where it's not. All that in less than 8 minutes. There is this famous saying, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. And the Romans do it marvelously. Together with Vienna, Rome is my favorite capital in Europe. It's wonderful in so many ways that to explain it, it would need an entire episode. But one acquaintance had her wallet stolen in Rome, and the way it happened shocked me because it was extremely creative. I will talk more about it in a few minutes. That made me ask myself the same question that brought you to this video. Is Rome still safe? The easy answer is yes, but the real answer is a bit more complicated. It requires you to ask when and where. With almost 3 million people, Rome is the third largest city in Europe. Like most major cities, there is much more beneath the surface than touristic snapshots. Locals will tell you that Rome is safe. At least for European standards, they are right. Rome is safer than Paris and way safer than Stockholm. And by many metrics, it is also safer than Berlin. Some rankings even put Rome as one of the safest European capitals, above places like Oslo or Helsinki. But Rome is not safe every time and not everywhere. Today we'll discover 5 places that are relatively dangerous in Rome. But to not waste your time, here's a disclaimer. Other than these areas, Rome is in general a very safe city, and even these 5 places we'll talk about in a few minutes would still be considered safe if you compare them to the rough regions of cities like Chicago or San Francisco. I mean, Rome has an homicide rate of less than 1 murder per 100,000 people per year. To put into perspective, Chicago has a murder rate of 18, while Washington D.C. has 16. It's a universe of difference. What Europeans would consider dangerous would probably be safer than the safest part of Baltimore. So first let's answer the most obvious part, when Rome is not safe, and later we dig into where Rome is not safe. That second part may fire up some people and raise some polemic, but we are used to that. The summer and fall are periods when tourism is at its peak, so you also see theft spike around those times. The most common places where theft happens are in crowded places, as well as public transportation hubs. Thieves usually operate by distracting their victims. We can find all sorts of traveler scams in Rome. Taxi drivers will try to scam you even more than almost any other country, so ask for the price before they start driving. Uber in Rome is quite expensive, but at least does not have that problem. Free bracelets might be offered to you, but once you accept this kind of gift, you may find the person begins to demand payment, sometimes even aggressively. The best thing you can do for yourself is stay aware of your surroundings, especially in crowded touristic places like the Colosseum. You need to keep an eye on your belongings and not be careless with flaunting an expensive watch or cell phone, and avoid walking around with your carry-on luggage. At the end of this episode, I will give you a tip that will help you to never walk around tourist points with your luggage. But now, we jump into the second and most important part, where Rome is not safe. The first place that comes to mind is the area surrounding Termini, which is a huge train station in the middle of Rome. Probably most Romans will tell you that Termini is not that bad anymore because their point of comparison will be a few decades ago, when that place looked more like a wasteland. Yes, nowadays is better, but it still requires a lot of caution during the night. Don't walk around there with expensive cameras hanging from your neck, and watch out for your bags and wallets. The second place is Esquilino, especially during the night. Located near the central station of Rome, the same Termini we talked about before, Esquilino is a neighborhood that has a rich history. However, it is also known for an elevated number of petty crimes like pickpocketing and scams. There is an area of Esquilino that requires special attention, called Via Giuliotti. This area can feel unsafe during night, and tourists should exercise extra caution. Another neighborhood that is not among the safest in Rome is San Basilio. Situated in the northeastern part of Rome, San Basilio is predominantly a residential area. It's not a typical tourist destination, and is known for its higher crime rates, including drug-related crimes and vandalism. Another place that you should avoid during the night is around Tor Beia Monaca. Located on the outskirts of Rome, it has a reputation for being involved in drug trafficking and other organized crimes. The area is considered relatively unsafe for tourists who are unfamiliar with the locale. In a personal opinion, it just looks weird, these communist blocks in Rome. It does not fit. Feels like Eastern Europe, with all due respect for Eastern Europe, of course. Actually, one thing that is curious about Rome is that almost any place that starts with Tor tends to be not very nice. Like Tor Pignatara, and if I'm not pronouncing it correctly, please correct me in the comment section, because Italian is not my first language, although I had been there a lot of times. If you look for Tor Pignatara in YouTube, you'll find some chilling videos about the place, but mostly in Italian. And Tor Beia Monaca and Tor Pignatara are not the only places starting with Tor that are relatively dangerous. In the list of the least safe parts of Rome, there is also Torre Angela. 90% of all Roma voted for Torre Angela as the least safe part of Rome. Torre Angela is a neighborhood in the eastern part of Rome, close to Tor Beia Monaca, and another area with Tor that is considered unsafe, Torre Maura. And if you're looking for a place to live, or even open a small business, better avoid Centocelle. Since 2019, a series of arson attacks have hit this neighborhood with a clear intent to intimidate business owners as well as residents. The neighborhood has begun a process of gentrification that also has made it more attractive for criminal investments. An analysis from Europe Media showed that at least around 10% of the businesses survived as some kind of connection with organized crime. Now, do you know which European capital is definitely more dangerous than Rome? Paris. Discover what happened there in this video here on your left. And remember that I promised you a solution to never need to carry your luggage when visiting any city in Europe, because that's how that acquaintance of mine I mentioned at the beginning was stolen. They used the fact that he was distracted by his carry-on luggage. If you are on a short visit, there are many reliable, convenient, and inexpensive luggage storage services. Use them. I personally use Redco Storage. They are everywhere, and you can find their link in the description.